Step 5 of the series of self inquiry. Who am I? The only royal path to realize the self. An applied science to conquer both life and death. Here, in this step 5, the central point is be a non thinker, be a non observer, be a non doer. What do I mean by this? Within, when I say within, that means where the control room, like an ego, under its authority, the intellect and the mind function. The very ego's entry as our waking states itself is illusory, a fiction. On what authority do I say this? I ask you to look at the deep sleep state, wherein you don't essentially fundamentally feel the life throb, even the palpitation of your heart, the pulse which is throbbing, the veins which circulates the blood, the lungs which breathe. Nothing is ever felt at all. So, for one, throughout one's waking state, has to deploy a non-observatory mode, a non-observer mode, a non-thinker mode, a non-doer mode, a non-feeler mode. And by what means? Again, how you become a non-thinker? Do you have to employ again thinking to become a non-thinker? Because non-thinker means staying silent. Always stand at the origin of a thought. Origin of a thought. Thoughts originate in Q only. They don't originate all of a sudden. But we have the inner climate like that we feel a constant chatter of all sorts is going on all the time. But it is not the case. We are actually one physical form. Within that one physical form, the ego, as a reaction of the past, reacting to the past. Whose past? The ego's past. Ego itself is a formless, on its own nameless entity, but it gains entityhood by apprehending, by catching hold of a passing feeling, a passing experience, which surges from within. From within. What is that within now, at this moment, for all of us? It is a surge that is taking place. from the cosmic mind. We are a movement in the total cosmic mind. In that, just like a droplet, a feeling arises out of the egocentric I amness. I amness always pervades, holding our physical bodies as its center and starts pouring out feelings and thoughts. Here, the point is be a non observer, be a non thinker, be a non feeler, be a non doer, be a non actor. How can you be like this, attaching all adjuncts in front of each word as non, non, like that? Is it again by a thinking? Is it again to be deployed, employed, used by a thought which you think and you start practicing? Is there a center called practicer in any one of us of anything? But the mind has taken for granted, and as if it is helping your physical form in the process of living and to give confidence, it has entered into the humanity. Not only you, it has entered into the humanity. How do I say it has entered? The mind has entered into the humanity in the form of experiencing, feeling, and thinking. Yes, because each experience is endorsed on a separate experiencer, and without that experiencer called the physical name and form of that person, he just can't taste that experience at all, the feeling at all, the thought at all. So, at the root, at the core, we are shrouded by experiencer, feeler, and thinker. So, quite contrarily, the process of staying within throughout our 24 hours of existence, lively existence, we will have to practice non thinking, non feeling, non experiencing. Then only this instrument called the mind, whether it is cosmic or personal, local, it becomes redundant. It falls off. The speed, the velocity with which it revolves within as individual beings, in especially in human beings, the speed is completely controlled because there is no one at all factually within the body or within a thought, a feeling, or an experience. Especially in this step 5, I ask you to take up the practice without the thought process, without a practicer, to stay put always within throughout your waking state as a non observer, non thinker, non feeler, non actor, non doer, non experiencer of anything, because this is the foundation, this is the fountainhead to travel, to dissolve within our real self. Nothing exists isolatedly as thinkers, doers, actors, experiencers in any speck of the space. Everything abides in the self as self itself. Self alone is to be the self. This is only veiling. An observer mode, a thinker mode, an experiencer mode brings in lot of chatter, confusions, conflicts, and completely one is vitiated into falling into the illusory lifestyle of thinker, doer, actor, experiencer mode. So, this is our fundamental point to reflect throughout in our waking state of becoming a non doer, non thinker, non feeler. And this is the step of the fifth in the series of Who Am I Self Inquiry towards realizing the self.